Well, actually, can you stand in there again? Just quickly.
Can't stand up green bottoms.
No, we should be alright like that. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Right, 5 o'clock. I think. Right. Hey guys, I'm sorry, I'm just behind the camera at the moment. I'm just setting up these. I've got 3 cameras on the go today to make this work properly. Well, I'm hoping it works properly anyway. Hey guys, so we have, well, I think we've got Instagram, YouTube and Facebook. So we're trying on all 3 platforms. There's got to be an easier way. I bought a streaming platform, it's like a mixer box. Couldn't get it to work properly, so it went back to Amazon very quickly. Hey guys, as you probably know, it is today the 10th of February, which is Chinese New Year, so Kung Hei Fat Choi. Had a lovely day so far. Picked up Mum and Dad earlier and we popped to the Leicester Museum where they had some Chinese celebration events going on. Did an interview for ITV. So if you're watching ITV later, especially in the central region, you might see my interview. Just talking about Chinese New Year and what it meant to us really. What else am I going to tell you today? So I did actually make some notes just so we've got a bit. So yeah, Kung Hei Fat Choi, Year of the Dragon if you didn't know. This is going to be a very lucky year for the monkey, the rooster and pigs. Famous dragons born in this year are Al Pacino, Sandra Bullock, Reese Witherspoon, Keanu Reeves and the Hoff, David Hasselhoff. Yesterday was a time when we should have visited family and had amazing meals. Today we would normally hand out lycee pockets or red pockets. Now the red pockets look like this. And basically we put money in there, it doesn't matter how much really, and we give this and we say Kung Hei Fat Choi, and it means good luck, I guess. So I'm trying to, even though I'm giving the money away, it just means that I'm going to have a very good year as far as money goes, hopefully. So this year we've not done it. There is a reason, it's very, very sad. Unfortunately, my uncle passed away 2 to 3 weeks ago, I think it was. He was my dad's eldest brother, head of the family, and he unfortunately passed away. So it just meant that we couldn't celebrate Chinese New Year in our normal way because you're not allowed to. I think it's about 100 days after a family member passes. So we can't have like the big celebration that we would normally have. So normally we meet my elder cousin, who's my eldest uncle's son, he normally organises a massive Chinese New Year party, and all the cousins and aunties and uncles who are still alive attend and we eat amazing food. What else am I going to do? So, the dish that we're going to cook today, we're only going to do the one dish. I was going to do a few dishes. I've been suffering with a man flu or a cold, as you might want to call it. So I'm just going to do the one dish. Now the one dish I think is the epitome of Chinese New Year. It's the spring roll. Out in the US they call it egg rolls or pancake rolls. I'm going to do one of the big pancake rolls for you today, guys. And we're going to make it very traditional for your, as you would remember it from a Chinese takeaway or restaurant. Okay. Now one of the main ingredients in that is the char siu pork. Now, unless you're going to cook a nice big piece of pork and you're going to marinate it, you know, you won't have char siu pork in. But I'm going to show you a really simple, quick way to get a similar flavour, just so we've got that pork going through the spring roll. And it starts, obviously, with some pork. Now, this was a boneless pork chop, and had a little tiny bit of fat on it. You can probably see the fat. And you want the fat in there, to be quite honest, because when we're cooking this later, it does help with the flavour. The first thing I'm going to try and do, guys, is tenderise this pork, okay? We're going to use a little bit of bicarbonate soda, so I'm just going to grab, first of all, my glove, just so I can massage this in, and I'm going to grab a teaspoon as well. And we're going to put roughly 1/4 teaspoon, maybe 1/2 teaspoon of bicarbonate soda into this pork. So it's probably just over 1/4 teaspoon went in there. Pop that back in there. And to this, I'm going to add just a little bit of normal table salt, just for a little bit of seasoning. So again, maybe 1/6 of a big teaspoon I've got there. That can go in. Now, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm just going to massage this in. Now, once I've massaged the salt and the bicarbonate soda into the pork, I can then add a liquid. Now, the liquid could be cold stock. it could be water. I'm going to use rice wine. It is Chinese New Year, so we do have to push the boat out a little bit. The rice wine will give it that fermented, funky flavour that you wouldn't normally get with just water. So that's the bicarb and the salt massaged in. And there is one ingredient I've actually forgot, which I'm going to get Joe just to grab for me. Could you just grab me, that's the rice wine, some cornflour, please. Now the reason I'm unscrewing these, don't ever buy plastic bottles from Amazon. The screw, I tip it upside down and the thing pisses water everywhere. Now what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons, maybe 3 tablespoons for a start. And you will see in the bottom of that bowl I've got a puddle of rice wine. What I'm going to do, I'm going to massage it into the pork, and the pork is going to suck up all of that liquid. Now this is how we tenderise it. So obviously the pork is being cut into small cubes anyway. If you wanted larger pieces, you just make sure you cut across the grain, so shortening those muscle fibres. But because I've got a small dice, I don't have to worry about that because the grain's going to be very small anyway. But what I want the pork to do now is to suck up those flavours. And it tenderises the meat, it makes it juicy and lovely. So I think that's going to be plenty actually. So the lid can go back on that one. I'm now going to grab some corn flour. Now the corn flour is not only going to help with texture, so it's going to create that smooth texture on the outside. It's also going to help seal the pork, so seal that liquid into it. So again, just before I do that, you can see now that there's no liquid in the bottom of that bowl. The pork has sucked up all of that moisture. So in there, I'm going to let's see, that's a very, very good heaped teaspoon of corn flour. And I'm going to add just a touch more, because it can take it, I think. And that gets massaged into the pork. And now you can see that each of those pieces now has got a little bit of coating of corn flour. It's becoming quite sticky, not too sticky, because I'm not put that much in. Now this is the time, guys, that we add a barrier. Now the barrier there again is to make sure that all that moisture stays within the pork now that we've just put into it. So I'm going to add just a squeeze of oil. You can use any oil you have at home. You could even use olive oil, coconut oil, rice bran oil, groundnut oil. This is just plain vegetable oil. So just a little squeeze over that, and there's our pork ready. Now this is just nice and juicy. It's got a little bit of fermented wine. Again, we're going to cheat that char siu flavour, which is that roast pork flavour, and that just comes with hoisin sauce in a bit really. So I'm going to take that glove off. I can now push my pork to one side, and I'm going to allow that to marinate for 15-20 minutes just while I cook the bean sprouts and other bits. So I don't need that anymore. Typically, in a pancake roll that you get from your Chinese takeaway or restaurant, it's going to be packed full of bean sprouts. Maybe a little bit of onion. Sometimes you get a bit of spring onion in it, which we're going to add today, which is that Cantonese flavour. And just for colour, and it really doesn't need it, I'm going to add just a little bit of shredded carrot as well. So I only need a small amount of onion. And the onion is there really, obviously it's just going to add a little bit of background flavour of onion, obviously a little bit of sweetness as well. And these massive onions that we've been getting are fantastic actually. I'm going to add a swig of water now. Again, apologies guys, you can probably see I've got this red, so I've been blowing my nose constantly for about 3 days now. So I'm just going to take that outer layer off. Also as well guys, obviously I can't hear you and I can't read the screens because I've got cameras pointing at me, but Joe is sitting in the background. If you have any questions at all, please do just find them over to Joe. And the platforms that we're on are Instagram, Facebook and YouTube. So we're live on all 3 platforms tonight. Just going to give it a go, see how we get on. Now, the pancake rolls are obviously shaped big cylinders, pretty much like that really, it's going to be. So I'm going to chop my onions in a julienne or a matchstick or slices. Quick tip about how you hold knives. Yes, I can hold the knife here, but I've got less control. Now personally, I like to take the back of the blade right up to my middle finger, okay? My thumb then supports this side of the blade, and my index finger supports the other side of the blade, and I've got a really nice control with the knife. Now if, like many, you don't use a big chopper and you use a smaller knife, we can still control the blade a little bit by putting our fingers just nice and close to the back of the knife. Okay guys, it just gives us a little bit more manoeuvrability and precision, I guess is what I'm looking for. This is a very small knife. You probably wouldn't chop with this knife. The other knife that I was looking for is actually in the dishwasher, I think, so I apologise. So again, taking my knife or my chopper right up to this finger, or my middle finger, the back of, I'm supporting with my thumb and forefinger, or my index finger. This hand, I make a claw, and I'm going to use the centre of my middle knuckle. And initially, because the onion is rounded, I'm going to angle my blade slightly away from me. And as I come up to the top, you see I'm nice and flat now. Okay? Then roll the onion over, and we have a nice fine slice of onion. The spring onion, again, I want it in a very, very similar shape. So I'm just going to chop my spring onion so it's roughly the same size. And then I'm going to run my knife through those lengthways now, just so again I've got matchsticks, I guess. So that's the spring onion chopped. And my carrot, roughly the same size again. I take the first end off, which gives me now a flat surface to work with. So you can see it's nice and stable now, and I'm just going to chop carrot tiles. Once I have my tiles, I'm going to lay them flat on my chopping board, and I'm just going to run my chopper lengthways through those tiles so I get matchsticks. So roughly all of my vegetables are the same shape of my bean sprouts, which is the main ingredient in this particular dish. Now you could add garlic by all means. Garlic's a great flavour, and for you guys that like to munch on ginger, you could dice some ginger down and put that through as well. Like I say, the classic Cantonese flavours of garlic, ginger and spring onion. Right then, I am going to have to blow my nose very quickly. I apologise. And we can start cooking. So grab your wok, put it on a nice high heat. I've said this many times, guys. If you're using a non-stick wok, at this point you can put your oil in. It doesn't need to be smoking hot. If you're using a carbon steel wok like this one, you would need to get it really hot before you add the oil. So in goes my oil. There's about a tablespoon that's gone in. And I'm just going to start the cooking with my onion. Grab a spoon. Nope, I'm not going to grab a spoon, so I don't have one. I'll grab this spoon, use it in there. And at this point, guys, we can add in our spring onions just to get those aromats going. And all I'm trying to do at this point, okay, is get a little tiny bit of colour. So just on the very, very tip or very edges, I just want that little bit of caramelisation, which is going to get that sweetness through. I can now add my carrots. And then my bean sprouts. Now I believe these are ready to cook, so they don't need to be washed. Now a little story about bean sprouts. Am I okay? That Joe's just checking the camera.
Yeah.
So back in the day, my mum used to have to grow bean sprouts in a bathtub. Now the reason you grow bean sprouts in a bathtub is because bean sprouts like a lot of water, and they like running water ideally. So you would literally have fresh water running through, just like a fish tank, I guess. And that's how you would normally grow bean sprouts. So that's something my mum did definitely back in the early 70s. This is when bean sprouts weren't readily available in every supermarket. Okay, now at this point, guys, normally I say keep your wok on nice and high. But what I don't want to do is overcook my bean sprouts, because I'm going to fry them later on in my mixture. So I'm going to turn my wok down ever so slightly. I'm going to add all of my bean sprouts, because this is the main ingredient. Obviously we're going to do the pork in a bit as well, but I'm going to let this mixture cool down. Get that in there. Give that a toss around. Now I think I've said this to you on many occasions, guys. If you use bean sprouts, you have to use white pepper. White pepper is going to help bring out that peppery note of the bean sprout. So in goes some white pepper. I'm going to add just a little touch of salt. I don't need too much at this stage because I am going to add oyster sauce and light soy sauce as well, which are both there for seasoning. You can see the wok's I'm not panicking at this point, okay, because I've turned that heat down. And again, all I'm doing is just trying to wilt these. I've run out of normal oyster sauce. I've got gluten-free, but there's no point using it because Joe's not going to be eating it. So I'm going to use mushroom stir-fry sauce in this one. This is basically your vegetarian version of oyster sauce. But at this stage, you would normally put a little bit of oyster sauce in. Don't have to. Not all takeaways do that. Most takeaways will probably just use a little bit of soy actually. But this stuff makes everything taste great. Okay. So I'm going to add in 2-3 tablespoons of oyster sauce, and then to that I'm going to add some light soy sauce, which is there for seasoning. Just about half a tablespoon, I guess, went in. A little bit of dark soy sauce for a little bit of colour, and I only put just a little tiny touch of dark soy sauce in. So I'm just going to mix that around. And because I've used the rice wine with the pork, I'm going to use a little tiny bit of rice wine in a second, just to finish the dish off. So I'm going to turn the heat up again, because it's not doing a lot at the moment. Now to this as well, guys, I need to get a little bit more background heat. Sorry, just I don't like a messy cooker. So yeah, so I'm going to add just a little bit more sugar. Now the oyster sauce is sweet anyway. Obviously it's not sweet, but we are going to add just a little tiny pinch of sugar at this stage as well, which is really just going to help bring all those flavours together. I talked about the thickness of sauces. Sugar helps, as does that oyster sauce, because it makes the sauce a little bit thicker, so it lasts on the tongue that little bit longer. Now, I think my veggies are pretty much there. I just wanted them wilted. I don't want the beans sprouts overcooked. So at this point, I'm going to turn this down again. I'm going to add a little sprinkle, sorry, not the wrong one, of my rice wine. You can see it's leaking all outside there, it's terrible. And a little bit of sesame oil, but again for seasoning, just for a nutty note. Just about a teaspoon. Give that a quick stir, switch off the heat. Now that has to cool. So I've got a nice big pan down here. And I'm just going to pour that into my pan to cool. Now if you try to fill your pancake rolls when the mixture's hot, what happens is that the pastry or the pancake wrappers will split when you fry them. So it's really important that you cool your filling down as much as possible, and realistically for a good half hour, 40 minutes before you even want to cook. I'm just going to take this, that can go in front of you guys, you probably can't see it down there, but that's just on a cork right now, ready to go. Now give me 1 second for a quick clear down, and then we can fry our pork off. Everything in this kitchen has its place, and I hate it when it's not in its place. That goes back in the fridge. There. Goes at the back of the fridge. See, it was funny because when I sorted the fridge out, all the labels were facing the same way as well. So a little bit like silent. What was it?
Sleeping with the enemy.
Sleeping with the enemy. That's right. Okay, now the wok's pretty much clean. I'm just going to give it a wipe off with a little bit of tissue, because I'm only going to cook my pork in here now. You don't really need to wash this in between, but I just need to dry the wok off so I can fry off my pork in a second. So that can go in there. A quick wipe. Back on goes the heat. Now we've got to imagine that this pork now has had 20 minutes at least, okay, tenderizing. So we can just pretend that now. In goes 1.5 tablespoons of oil. grab my spoon, and the pork can now go in. Now what I'm going to do, guys, is fan the pork out so I've got that single layer across the bottom. Turn the heat down just a tiny little bit and just let that cook away for a second. This is a really good time to ask any questions because I think I've done all my prep. Anything going on? Anybody got any questions at all?
No, Mum says hi.
Who says hi?
Mum.
Hello, Mum.
John Bones on YouTube. Just eating keema martinez and he's through, but watching this stream is making him so hungry.
Very nice.
Also loves pork and bean sprouts.
Pork and bean sprouts, the best. Okay, so the pork, you can just see, it just turned, obviously I'm very pink now, so translucent white near enough. I do want to make sure that I've cooked the pork all the way through. We are going to be adding this stuff in a second. This is just your classic hoisin sauce. It's not 100% char siu or your barbecue roast pork, because obviously that's got yellow beans, it's got hoisin, sugar, star anise, cinnamon, five spice, and all these others. But this is a quick, cheap version for a pancake roll. Okay. I'm just going to keep on cooking that and frying that just until I'm happy that the pork is pretty much cooked all the way through. We are going to be frying them in the pancake rolls again, but I'm going to fry them very, very quickly, just shallow fry as well today. So I want to really do make sure that this is cooked. Now you will find, obviously, you know, this is where it's good if you've got a bit of a non-stick wok at the moment. Because the corn flour will naturally want to stick to the bottom that we coated the pork in. But you can see we're very clean actually in the wok. So there's hardly anything sticking really. We're getting that nice colour on the pork as well. You can see that the pork as well is plumped up. So see, remember it's got all that moisture in that we've introduced just a minute ago. Okay. Now to add some oyster sauce, hoisin sauce, sorry. I'm going to add maybe 2.5 tablespoons into here. So there's one, end of the bottle, so I'm just going to get the last bits out. There's 2. Turn that heat down again, just a little tiny bit. And we're just going to let that cook in that sauce just for a second. Now, I am at this point going to add just a little tiny bit more rice wine, okay guys? Not only does that help with the flavour, but it's also going to help with the moisture. I want to just try and get a little bit more water in there, a little bit more liquid in there, just so I've got something to cook down. And as that rice wine gets absorbed and cooks off, this will become more and more and more sticky. Now they get that bright red colour at your local restaurant or takeaway by using food colouring. So don't be shocked guys that if you follow one of the recipes, especially the char siu pork one, or the barbecue ribs even, and they're not bright red. The reason they're not bright red is because I don't use food colouring in my food. By all means though, if you want to eat bright red food, because that's what you're used to, just add a little bit of red food colouring and you get that bright red colour. So you can see guys, that moisture and that hoisin sauce is really cooking into that now. It's becoming really nice, sticky and gooey. And I think that is just about cooked. So I'm going to do a taste test. We've got myself a pair of chopsticks.
Oh,
Yeah, nice
question. Which cut of pork is it?
Just a pork chop. Literally, it was just a pork chop. There were 2 small pork chops I diced up. That's cooked. I'm going to cook it just a little tiny bit longer. It's not as dry as normal pork chops because we've velveted it. we've marinated it, but it tastes really, really good. It could actually just take a little tiny bit more of hoisin. And hoisin or char siu is very, very sweet, so I am going to put a little tiny bit of sugar in this as well. So are you going to say, Jack?
Could you use syrup instead of sugar, maybe maple or honey?
Yeah, 100%. Yes. So the answer to that is, the question was, could you use syrup, maple or honey?
Maple or honey.
Yeah. You could also use coconut syrup if you can get hold of that. We've got some of that out there actually. But it's just to add that element of sweetness. For you guys that are on a really, really strict diet, you're not adding any sugar to your food, you could use a stevia or a xylitol or even an artificial sweetener if you wanted to. It wouldn't be exactly the same, guys, I'm not going to lie. But, you know, we are using alternatives, aren't we? So I'm just going to grab another piece. Now, if you were to close your eyes and eat that, you'll be surprised thinking that is char siu pork. Okay.
A few more questions.
Yep.
Do you ever use MSG?
No. So the answer to the question was, do I use MSG? Personally, I don't use MSG. There is nothing wrong with MSG. MSG is a chemical flavour enhancer. It will make anything you put MSG to taste fantastic. I am of the belief, if you know how to season your food properly, and we're using products that have umami, because that's what MSG does, it adds that element of umami. So oyster sauce, soy sauce, tamari, ketchup, Kit Kat Menace or whatever it's called, all got umami in it. So if you know how to flavour your food, do you really need to add MSG to cheap flavour? I don't know, it's up to you guys, you're cooking it, if you want to use it, there's nothing wrong with using it. The rule of thumb is, whatever you put in with salt, you would put in MSG. So if a recipe requires half a teaspoon of salt, you would put half a teaspoon of MSG in. Next question?
Yep. Can you tell us which brand of hoisin you've used, please? Because they really differ in taste from brand to brand.
They do. So the best one, I think, is Amoy. Amoy hoisin sauce is the one that we would use in a Chinese restaurant all day long. That was, let's put the bottle in the bin actually. That was, it looks like a Thai brand actually. It's the Flying Goose one. But that's because I had it in the fridge and it was nearly empty, so I've just used the end of it. So, you know, but it tastes fantastic still. And also remember, we added that extra bit of sugar. In the Chinese restaurants, we would always use Amoy because we put it in tins. It was tins of yellow bean sauce and tins of hoisin sauce.
And also, can you explain the difference between light and dark soy, please?
Okay, so for you guys that don't know the difference between light and dark soy sauce, light soy sauce is thinner. It's used to season dishes. It's got umami. Obviously, it's got umami because it's fermented. And again, it's not there to replace salt, but it's there to help with the salt flavour. Then we have our dark soy sauce, which has been fermented a lot longer. As you can see, if I swirl it around the bottle, it clings to the bottle. It's a lot thicker, it's got molasses in it. It's used for colour and a little bit of sweetness to a dish. Right then, should we roll some pancake rolls and get some oil on? I'm just going to pop that to one side as well. Another cork mat comes out. Right, let's get some oil on first. So I am only going to shallow fry these ones tonight, guys. Use that. So I'm going to roughly use around about, I'll put it on the back so it doesn't splash me. I'm going to use roughly 1.5 inches of oil, which is 3 centimetres-ish, I guess. This is just vegetable oil, guys. So I've roughly got about 1 inch and a little bit of oil in that pan. Okay, let's grab my pancake roll wrappers. Now, when you buy a packet of pancake roll wrappers, they do come in quite a large pack. We never seem to make enough to use the entire pack. So we tend to cling it as tight as we can and then pop it in the freezer, and then next time we use it, we pull it out of the freezer and use it again. These have probably been used 2 or 3 times like that, and they haven't created food poisoning yet. But I can't tell you to do that. Personally, that's what we do, and we're okay. But I don't want you guys saying, oh, Kwoklyn said it was all right to put my spring roll wrappers into the freezer 8 times, and now I've got a dicky belly. The other way of doing it is do loads of mixture, pre-roll all of your pancake rolls, spring rolls, and freeze them then after they've been rolled, and then you can just pull them out when you need them and fry them off. A little tip, when we had to do these in the restaurant, obviously we would do packs and packs at a time. We use our thumb and forefinger, okay, and I'm going to use the heel of my thumb just to help peel off the wrapper. Okay, so we find the end, which is difficult at the moment because I need bloody glasses now, and we'll just peel off the wrapper. We might do 3 actually.
So while you're just peeling those, just back on that preserving foods.
Yeah.
Kev on YouTube just said, what's your take on so many sources saying that they should be kept in the fridge? Doesn't leave much room for the actual food, or can we leave many things out?
No. So the answer is, so sauces in the fridge rather than leaving them ambient on the shelf. Anything that I would say, any chili sauces, any oyster sauces, definitely keep in the fridge. Okay, we always keep them in the fridge. Soy sauces, no problems at all. But I think anything that's got quite a lot of other ingredients in there, just to be on the safe side, guys, put them in the fridge. Now it says to use within 1 month. I know that we've had bottles of oyster sauce in the fridge for bloody months and months and months and months, and we've used it 6 months down the line, and they still taste fantastic. With all the preservatives that they use in foods now, you tend to be okay. Use your common sense, guys, okay? If it smells like poo, chances are it's going to taste like poo. It's not going to be very good for you. If it smells and tastes fine, just a little tiny taste of the sauce, if it tastes fine, you should be okay. But again, I can't be seen to endorse that. So I'm going to give these to Joe, so Joe can wrap these again and clean them. So.
Okay, one more question just while you're wondering.
Yep.
Is there much difference between light soy sauce and reduced salt soy sauce?
I'm not a big fan of reduced salt. I'm not saying don't use it, because obviously if you're diabetic or there are other reasons that you need to reduce your salt intake, you should use them. They will alter the flavour, so a reduced salt soy sauce will taste slightly different. I also find that with different brands as well though. You can go into a Chinese supermarket or your local supermarket, you can buy 3 light soy sauces, different brands, and each one of them, I think, will taste a little different. Okay, I'm hoping this is cool enough now that I can actually roll you a pancake roll. And we'll see, won't we? So I'm going to take one of these wrappers. Now you start with a point pointing towards you and the other point pointing away. Now pancake rolls, guys, are big, meaty buggers. So I'm going to grab some of this mixture and make quite a hefty pancake roll, I think. Or heftier than I would normally anyway. Because obviously we're so used to wrapping the mini spring rolls, and I'm hoping it's not going to split. I can't guarantee that, it's still a little bit warm actually. I'm now going to grab a little bit of my char siu that I've made, and I'm going to put in just a few pieces of char siu. So hopefully I'll get a little bite of char siu in each of the bites. I'm now going to take this point, which is nearest to me, and I'm going to take it right over the mixture. Now just hold in there. I don't know if you can see that, guys. I'm sorry if this is in the way. I'm going to use, so at the moment I've got the lip of the pancake roll, the wrapper, and I'm going to use that just to pull it all towards me. It's split already, it's warm. Oh, I'm going to double wrap these. That's another thing you can do as well, guys. First roll. See, look. Special one, you can have a double roll. See, how do you rescue a pancake roll? I double wrap it because I'm cheating. It's just because the mixture's still a little bit warm, to be quite honest. What I have forgot to do is get some egg. Can I get egg in a bowl, please? Because what we're going to do, we're just going to seal this edge here. I might need those pancake roll wrappers again. Also as well, guys, if your mixture is quite wet, because obviously as it cools, it will leach water. So what I should have done actually is put this in a colander or a sieve. So as it cooled, actually the water would drain off it, so the mixture's quite dry. I just completely forgot, if I'm completely honest. I'm going to blame it on my cold. Thank you. Can I get another pancake wrapper as well, please? Okay guys, so that's just some whisked egg. I'm just going to dip my finger in. Of course you could use a brush, you could use a back of a teaspoon, whatever you want really. But I'm going to use my finger, because why not? It's only my mum and dad eating this. And there we have our first pancake roll. I'm then going to take my other wrapper, which I do need some more in a second.
And how much wrap?
Yeah, no, just one more is fine, I just did two. Going to spoon on some of this, well, chopstick some of this mixture on. Again, I'll take some of this pork. Plenty of pork in that one. Okay guys, remember, we'll take it right over the mixture. I pull it back towards me. That one hasn't split this time. Now, here guys, I've got to make sure that I fold the corners over enough so when I roll it, I don't get bunches at the end. So there's that there. I'm going to roll it. It hasn't split, but I am going to double roll it just for consistency. So I'll take my other wrapper. You wouldn't normally get a double roll in a Chinese takeaway, just to let you know guys. Let me just turn this heat now as well. My oil's nice and hot, I can see it smoking. So over that goes. In go my corners. Bit of an egg wash. And remember, everything is cooked. The pork's cooked, the vegetables are cooked. So I'm going to literally give these, that's very hot. A little trick as well guys, if it is too hot, just add a little bit more oil. Just cools the oil down instantly. I shall get some tongs out, get the heat back up a little bit, and we should have, hopefully, really nice pancake rolls in about 2 or 3 minutes. So what have you been doing for Chinese New Year? Anything fun, exciting? Yeah. Anybody get a red pocket? Because that's really lucky if you've got a red pocket. Even if you're not Chinese, guys, go out there to the Chinese supermarket, get yourself some red pockets, and just put 20p in a pocket and give it to somebody, because it's really lucky for you as well. See, golden brown already. Oil's very hot. Because this is the beauty of cooking them when the filling's already cooked. Obviously, if you're cooking these from frozen, guys, you probably want to use a thermometer. Get your oil up to about 150, 160. Pop them in from frozen and give them a good 10 to 12 minutes, okay? Take them out, turn the oil back up to high, so you want to be about 180, 190. And then you want to flash fire them off just to finish, just to go nice and crispy. But these are looking fantastic. And I know Mum and Dad are going to love these. I'm just going to get some kitchen rolls just to put them on so they can drain. And we have really simple, very quick and easy. Pretty much apart from chopping the pork, we did everything from scratch tonight. We went live at 5 o'clock. It's taken 40 minutes, but I bet we could have done it quicker. And remember, if you did this in batches, so get your family to help out, get your mixture cooked, and then get everybody rolling, you can have pancake rolls whenever you want them. And they're a lot nicer and a lot cheaper than going to your Chinese takeaway. So just check this out. Look at that. How nice does that look? If it wasn't for this silly diet that I'm on, I'd so eat this now. This is going to taste fantastic. Pancake roll number 1. Pancake roll number 2. Did I tell you guys why we're making pancake rolls today? I know they're called spring rolls, so you would have them at the beginning of the spring lunar year, which is what we've just started today. The reason we're eating spring rolls or pancake rolls is because they look like the shape of gold bars. So they mean abundance, wealth, prosperity. And that's why they're always traditionally served at Chinese New Year. There we have it. Look how nice they are. I'm so impressed with that. It's like I've never done them before. I used to make bloody hundreds of these. They were a bit smaller though in the restaurant because we always did the spring rolls. There you go guys. Slightly different shapes. That's because I bodged the first one. It split and I panicked, to be quite honest. But you want about that shape, I think. Kung Hei Fat Choi, pancake rolls, short masterclass, how you can cheat char siu pork in a matter of minutes and make your own fantastic bean sprout pancake rolls for Chinese New Year. Hope you have a great weekend, guys, and I shall see you again very soon for another live, I'm sure. All right. Any more questions? It's probably going to take me about 5 minutes to switch all these bloody cameras off now anyway, guys. Yeah. So with that, Alexa, play Chinese lion dance music.
Playing Chinese lion dance music on Amazon Music.
What the hell is that? That's Axel F. Why is that Chinese lion dance music?
I don't know.
Alexa, can you please play Chinese lion dance music?
Playing Chinese lion dance music on Amazon Music.
No, it doesn't want to play today. Alexa, play Chinese New Year music.
Chinese New Year and similar songs on Amazon Music.
Why is this Chinese New Year? Alexa,
No.
off. There you go. Alexa's got no idea. Clearly in America they have no idea what Chinese New Year music sounds like. Anyways guys, I'm switching off now. Have a fantastic weekend. Kung Hei Fat Choi. Where's my glasses? I can't read. Can't see the screens.